And if anybody has any questions, please ask. I also have a couple of homework questions that I just want to quickly flip through. So, yeah.
No problem. Now, of course, with these news, we have seen an example Friday with the non-farm payroll. We knew that the numbers would have been bad, but as you have observed, almost no reaction in the market. And this is not strange. We are living in a very exceptional, unique situation. So it's the first time the world is living such kind of situation. And so it's completely impossible to predict what the market can do. Will we see the usual behavior or something completely different? So we have to be ready for everything. Everything is possible. But let's do our homework, because preparation is still necessary, and let's adapt to the market when we find trade opportunities. So, but pay attention, we are in an exceptional situation, so it's possible that for some time these news analysis will not work as usual. So, but let's do the job. So on Sunday I will monitor the Aussie MI inflation gauge month over month. Then on Monday I will monitor the Euro-German factory orders month over month. Then we have the pound construction PMI major, major one, yeah. Then I will monitor the Bank of Canada Business Outlook Survey, which is important during this time, of course. Then we have the OPEC meeting. Oh, I don't see the OPEC meeting, Chris, on the calendar.
They must have updated it since I did it, so it'll probably be a bit later on. Okay.
Okay, then I will monitor the Kiwi NZIER business confidence. Then we have the Aussie trade balance major, higher time frames.
Yep.
And monitor the yen 30-year bond auction. So this is for Monday. For Tuesday, we have a big one in red with the Aussie cash rate and Reserve Bank of Australia rate statement. So major plus higher time frames.
Yep.
Then I will monitor the Euro-German industrial production month over month. Yep. Then we have the pound Halifax HPI month over month major. It is a major one. Then we have the Kiwi GDT price index major higher time frames.
Yep.
We have the yen current account major higher time frames. And I will monitor the Aussie Reserve Bank of Australia Financial Stability Review. Because these reports can give perhaps some information about the possible measures QE, for example, the central banks will take to help sustaining the economy. So,
cheers.
On Wednesday, I will monitor the yen economy watcher sentiment. So a lot of unusual news, but we are in very exceptional circumstances. Then I will also monitor the Swiss unemployment rate. Then, of course, let's monitor the OPEC meetings.
Oh, is that where they've gone? Okay.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, let me find it. I made it red.
Will Russia and Saudi Arabia and the OPEC participant succeed to agree on a oil production? So
where was that? Wednesday after unemployment rate.
Yeah.
Okay. Cool. Okay.
Then monitor the pound 10-year bond auction and the German 10-year bond auction too.
Yep.
Monitor also the US dollar crude oil inventories, so necessarily, and the US dollar 10-year bond auctions.
Mm-hmm.
I will monitor also the US dollar FOMC meeting minutes.
Yep.
And then I will, no, let's see the content of the speech by Kuroda. Brief remark at the Bank of Japan branch manager meeting in Tokyo. I will perhaps monitor that speech. In this context, perhaps Kuroda will give some indications about the Bank of Japan decisions. Then I will monitor the Euro-German trade balance.
Down here, okay.
Yeah. Then we have the pound GDP month-over-month major higher time frames, of course.
Can scroll down. Okay, it's a big one. Sure, okay. So monitor it, monitor.
No. Major higher time frame for the GDP.
Okay, sorry. What were you going to monitor? Goods trade balance.
No, good trade balance. No.
Just carry on. Yep.
Then we have, let's see, the manufacturing production month-over-month. So major. Then we have, I will monitor the Euro ECB monetary policy meeting accounts.
Yep.
Then we have the Canadian non-farm payroll, so a big one. So major higher time frames, employment change, unemployment rate, and for the US dollar, this time I will monitor the unemployment claims.
Oh, sorry. Yep.
Then we have the US dollar, monitor the US dollar core PPI month-over-month and PPI month-over-month. Then we have the GDP, the pound NI ESR GDP estimates, so major higher time frames. And then we have the US.
I'll just mark everything as major, Eusebio, and leave it at that.
No, major higher time frames.
Yep. Okay.
And then we have for the US dollar the preliminary University of Michigan consumer sentiment major, and similarly for the inflation expectations. Then monitor the natural gas storage, the 30-year bond auction.
Yep.
And then
it's a short week, Easter. Yep.
Yeah. If you want to scroll down the calendar, Chris.
Sure.
This would be useful. Okay, that's it for Thursday. And on Friday, sorry, let's add as monitor the Chinese CPI year over year. And then on Friday, so Friday, it's a day not to trade because it's a holiday in many countries, so for Easter precisely. But anyway, we have the US dollar CPI month-over-month, major higher time frames, and the core CPI month-over-month, so similarly, major higher time frames. And let's see the speech by Mr.
Okay, is there no holiday in the States for Good Friday?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I was asking, any Americans out there, is there a holiday on Good Friday, Easter?
No, this does not appear on the calendar.
Yeah, I was, okay. So, Mr. Hey, Stanley.
So, you speak about economic health during a crisis via satellites. It will be a general lecture, so not important at all. Okay, that's it for Friday.
Okay. Right. So there's about 80, just over 80 news items this week. Okay. Okay. So for Americans out there, is there a holiday on Good Friday? anyway, while somebody perhaps is answering that, here's the list of all the pairs for the past few weeks. The Euro Swiss has dropped off the board, but everything, nearly everything else is above the $750 arbitrary mark. Good Friday upcoming is, I know, Kurt, but is it a holiday? Thank you. United States holiday, Good Friday. But Ralph, you're a Canadian, so you don't count. Sorry. In 10 days, Kurt, it's. I don't know how you do your maths there. Yeah, I know. Okay, so anyway, we've got these top 10 here. The ranges have been reasonable, sort of hovering around the 3,000. Okay, Ron, cheers. Cut and paste. And what I've done is, so there's the top 10 is listed up here. And what Eusebio will do now is this magic trick where he matches up the news for each day with the top 10 pairs so that we get some idea on what.
Okay, you have taken included the OZN. Oh, that's perfect. Yep. Good choice.
It's the top 10, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so for Sunday we have nothing. For Monday we have the pound.
So pound. Okay, that's it.
That's it.
Okay, so the first choice will be the pound Kiwi or pound Aussie.
Okay.
Then we will have the pound US dollar or pound CAD.
Yep.
And then the pound yen.
There's a pound. Nope, don't have one of those. Okay, Tuesday we have nothing left over from, oh sorry, we've got the Aussie left over from Monday.
The Aussie, so Aussie, and Aussie, okay?
And the pound.
And the pound. Pound. Okay, the choice will be a bit simpler. So the first choice will be the pound Kiwi or pound Aussie.
Yep.
Then we will have the Euro Aussie or Euro Kiwi.
Okay.
And then we can consider the pound US dollar.
Okay. Okay. So leftovers from Tuesday are the Kiwi.
The Kiwi, so Kiwi, then the yen, okay.
And nothing else, nothing on Wednesday.
Okay, so we will have the pound Kiwi or pound Aussie.
Yep.
Then we will have the pound yen.
Yep.
And then we can consider, that's strange, the Aussie yen. That's not common.
No. It's a strange world we live in these days, Eusebio.
Yeah. We will see for the 3 sessions afterwards. So.
Okay. Okay. And are you going to do that thing where you go backwards through a chart that you were talking about? It's all right. It was a joke. It was a joke. Don't freak out. So leftovers from Wednesday is nothing. And on Thursday, we have the pound.
So the pound, and pound.
And a bit more pound. And then the CAD.
The CAD, okay.
And, okay, the US dollar.
The US dollar, so here, okay.
And that's it.
Okay, so the first choice will be the pound US dollar or pound CAD.
I had one of those, yep.
Then we will have the Euro Aussie or the Euro Kiwi.
Yep.
And then we will have the, sorry. It is the pound Kiwi or pound Aussie.
Okay.
And then we will have the pound yen.
Right. Okay. And so on for Friday, we have leftovers for Thursday, which are nothing. And
nothing? Okay.
It's Good Friday. So US is open. That's it. And that's it.
Okay, and we have no major, the US. Okay.
Yeah.
So US. So there was no choice. So we have the pound US dollar.
Okay.
Then we will have to consider the Euro Kiwi or the Euro Aussie.
Okay.
And let's consider also the pound Kiwi or pound Aussie.
Okay.
Now, let's check if we cover for each day the 3 sessions. So on Monday, we have the 3 sessions. Okay, no problem. On Tuesday, we have the 3 sessions. Okay. On Wednesday, we will have to add the pound US dollar somewhere. So Aussie yen or pound US dollar. Then on Thursday, we have the 3 sessions. And on Friday, we have the 3 sessions. Okay. We are good.
Okay. Hey, Mark. Okay, but on Friday, because most of the places will be closed, perhaps consider not trading.
Yeah, indeed.
Okay. Hey, Baldiv, how are you going? I'm surprised you're here. So, things going okay in Australia? Baldiv's a medic, so he's been looking after. I presume you've been looking after things. I think you're semi-retired, but maybe getting pulled back in, like a lot of other medics around the place. Okay. Okay. Well, just be careful out there. Sorry. Is there anything that you, as being on the front line there, want to emphasize to us? Any secret tips for helping us get through COVID, not get through COVID? Extract the blood from somebody that's recovered from it and could turn us all into vampires. Okay, if you want to, sorry, what my reference there was a thing called convalescent serum, which New York is trying out, and they used to do it in the 1918, when the 1918 flu came around. They would take the plasma from people that had recovered from it, inject it into people that were sick with the flu, and help them recover faster. It was kind of a vaccine for the people that were already sick, and it's yep. So New York is trying it out. There's a few places. The reports that I've seen, but it's only been a handful of people, seem to be working, but it could be. Okay, thanks, Baldiv. If you want to come on and tell us something, that would be fine. So we've got social distancing. Yep, we've all got our 2-meter bubbles. The Canadians are using hockey sticks to keep people away, which is quite good. But Baldiv, what about Trump? Sorry, I'll stop doing that. Okay, so we've got our news, our top pairs. Baldiv has mentioned Dr. Fauci. If you don't know him, then find out where he is. He's a short guy that Trump glares at whenever he corrects Trump, and he seems to be missing from some of the broadcasts now for some reason. Yeah. So will I, but yeah, okay. I gather you can tell my esteem of Trump, how I esteem him. What else do we have to do? Okay, it's a really short week this week, so just be careful. And while Sabio is going through his presentation, I'll be uploading this to the website. Hopefully I can get it done before he's finished. And let me save this. Okay, sorry, we've got a bunch of new people. They've probably been through this a lot already, but the reason that we do this news is so that when there is news coming out, and I'm going to bring it up here. Where is it? Oh, I shifted it off. Here we go. What I do is I take all this information that's that Eusebio has extracted from Forex Factory that's in my spreadsheet, and I put it up here on our NewsWatch page. So we have some critical items. I'll come back to them, but all the news is distilled down here. And so what we do is anything that's marked H4 is for the higher time frame traders. So for you guys, if you're trading this, these are the ones to watch. So don't place any orders 1 hour prior. Get out within half an hour of the news coming out, unless you've got, and this is to protect your account, because in the past there was a lot of volatility around these places. I can show you a picture in a minute, which could impact your account. So we're not caring about the profit at this point. We're caring about your account. If you don't have an account, you can't trade. So that's number one thing to protect. And for people that are trading less than 4 hours, it's the majors you have to watch out for. So again, if you're in a smaller time frame trade and there's a major news coming out, and there's some provisos on this, but if there's major news coming out, then within 1 hour, do not place any trades, and within half an hour, get out of any trades that you're in. Now for the provisos, if you've scaled in and you're up, got a lot of units open, then close them down just to protect your profits and your account. So you don't have to close everything down completely. So it's more as a protection in that case. For any news coming out on the euro, US dollar, and the yen that's major, then it doesn't matter what pair you're in, treat it as if the news is coming out on that particular, will impact that pair, because these are the big boys and they will make the whole market jiggle at times. If you're trading, if there's news coming out, say on the CAD or the Kiwi or the Aussie or the Swiss, they're not so big. So if you're in something like the euro dollar or another pair that isn't necessarily impacted by that currency, then you can stay in it. Just be a bit more cautious. And the pound kind of sits in between. So it, depending on the news that's coming out on the pound, it could impact everybody, or it could be just a small thing that's related to the pound itself. I'm afraid there's no hard and fast rules on that, unless you want to go back and see what it did in the past somehow. And there is things called spike charts. You can go back through to see how a news announcement affected the rest of the market. But let's not go there just for a moment. It'll take at least an hour or two to explain that. But that's a spike chart. And at the bottom of the email that I send out with the video, there's a link to a spike chart. I haven't looked at it for ages, so it was a couple of years ago, so it might be out of date, but I think it should still be there. The monitor ideas, information that's coming out that you, oops, let's find one. Oh, well, they're all monitors, these ones here. You don't have to get out, but just keep an eye on what's happening with them. The crude and the bond for the crude and the for the oil and the bond traders. Other ones like where we do unemployment claims could impact the market, so just keep an eye on it. It's less likely that it's going to, but it's also good for your knowledge to know what's coming up. Okay. A bit further down, I've got the list of the top 10s, so this will change, and the top pairs for that particular day. So I've got this one down here, US pound dollar. That's because if you're trading just the ones we've done, sorry, I can't do it, euro, pound, euro, Kiwi, euro, Aussie, pound, Kiwi, pound, Aussie, there's nothing there for the US session. So Eusebio's added an extra category down here just for the US traders, so that they've got something there that's got some news in it. It's got a pair that's applicable to that particular session. So how to pick these? The first two here, lines here, are pretty much equal. There's no better than the other. It's there to help you weed out, so that you're not watching 10 pairs all at once. You can just monitor, say, 3 without losing too much focus. And if none of these are working, then you can drop down to the second choice. If you're in the US people and these aren't really working for you, then you could use, say, the pound dollar just to give you something that's actually working through that particular session of yours. And if you're in the southern hemisphere like I am, then I would be inclined to monitor the Euro Kiwi and the Euro Aussie through that day. And then when London opens, go up to the Euro Pound, because the pairs are the most active during their native sessions. So just to give you an idea on what that's all about. And then right up at the top here, we've got information that's critical. These are really slow moving. So we've listed them as critical, important, and monitor. And underneath there's just the different countries that you need to be aware of. So at the moment, immediate, we've got COVID ramping, causing huge destruction through the world. Nearly 10 million unemployed in the States now, even though the non-farm payroll doesn't catch it because it's 2 weeks old. Brexit's still going on in the background, so you've still got to watch out for that. And the repo market is just beginning to bubble up again, I noticed. So there's some articles underneath here. And then a bit further down, we've still got all the old stuff like US, Iran, China, European possibly dissolving. I'm going to put an exclamation mark to the ones that are sort of the most recent. So probably next week, this one will come off and maybe something else will come up, but it's something new to watch. And then ongoing long-term, and we're talking real long-term because some of these have been up here for a year. You've got to keep an eye on them. COVID sort of popped to the top within a couple of weeks, but yep, all these other ones have just been bubbling on in the background, and you've got to be aware of them in case, just in case, really, so that you're aware of what's happening in the world. Trading is not just about looking at the bars going past on the chart. You have to be aware of what's going on elsewhere. So I said, and if there's any questions, please ask. That's what we're here for. And if you want to be unmuted, let us know. And what I'm going to do now is just pull this off, jump back over to my trusty spread thingy here. Okay, so we've said for the news events, and I said I'd show you what the volatility looks like. Don't place orders 60 minutes before, reduce your risk 30 minutes before the event. So when I talk in the primer classes, I just tell them get out because they've got not much cushioning. If you've done scale-ins, then you've got a cushion there, so you don't have to completely get out of a trade unless it's a really big one like the non-farm payroll used to be, and that seems to have died off quite hugely lately. But for something like the non-farm payroll used to be, you would get out of every trade before it kicked in. So just to make absolutely sure you don't get hammered. And here's what an example of what these things look like. So here's Aussie trade balance. This is 2015. So it caused the Aussie news caused it to jump up 50 pips. The Kiwi is related, so it jumped down 50 pips. And here's the New Zealand US. It doesn't have any Aussie in it, but it's still the Kiwi. We kind of regard ourselves sort of as cousins. It still caused a spike in the Kiwi. So this is the kind of thing we've got to watch for. Aussie is still a small currency, and it's not really related to the yen much. And in the Swiss yen here, not really much correlation. There was very little movement. So that's why we say for the smaller currencies, just see what it did in the past, and if necessary, take action, but most of the times you don't need to. For something like the pound, which sits halfway, it could cause an impact, or it may not cause an impact. So service PMI came out on, again, 2015 when I did this, caused a 50 pip drop. For the pound Kiwi, the pound's in here, it caused something like 60 pips. You can't really see it on this chart, but it was it's generally part of the same movement, but was still biggish. On this one, it's the New Zealand Kiwi, and there was only a 13 pip movement, so it really didn't cause much of a blip here. This is when London opens, where the blue dash line is. the Euro US, not a blip. So it wasn't that important to most of the other countries, but anything with the pound in it, it did cause a bit of a blip. Aussie yen, nothing here. And over here is what the non-farm payroll used to look like. And it was really good to sort of align charts because you knew it came out at 1:30 US Open, so you could find it on a chart if you weren't too sure what the time was when you were syncing your chart during daylight savings. So the US came out and caused a 100 pip spike in both directions. Aussie Kiwi, not related to the US, but like I said, US is a big one, caused a 40 pip blip here. So you can see tiny, 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 tiny blam, and you get hit. And it goes up and down because people were saying, this is back in the early 2000s, well, if there's good news for and it used to take minutes before when the non-farm came out, you'd sit there and you'd say, okay, well, the news was really good. I think it's going to go up or down or whatever. And so you'd place all your orders above it, and then the news would suddenly creep up after a few minutes, and people would just make tons of money. It was, okay, I found it really interesting. I didn't know what was going on, but it was so slow you could actually trade it. And then over a few months, as the brokers kept losing money because people knew which way the US was coming, the non-farm payroll was coming out, they started placing, the brokers would start whipsawing. So they would move price up to capture all these orders, move price down to capture all these orders, do it again just to shake people out, and then let price sort of move in the proper direction. So it was the beginning of manipulation, and then the news started getting faster as well. Might have the sequence incorrect, but these days you can't really do that because you can't look at the news and say, I'm going to place my order now, because by then it'll be too late and it'll all be over.